Wayne Sutton is internationally known as the coach's coach, and he's with us here today. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing very well. Glad to be on your show. Glad to be here.
Well, it's great to have you on the show. Now, first of all, can you just explain what it is exactly that you do?
Well, you kind of laid it out really quick with that coach's coach. I help coaches, service providers, salespeople, really in the area of influence and persuasion. And persuasion begins with a man or woman in front of the mirror, getting our own mindset right, our own activities right, and then influencing others. That's really what I help teach people to do.
And is that quite fun work to do, or can it still be quite challenging at times?
Yeah, it can be challenging. The biggest challenge is getting out of our own way, getting out of our own mindset, getting out of our own problems. When we first started the interview, you had a picture of the Muppets up there, and it kind of just made me smile. It kind of shifted my behavior for just a moment, changed the state. When we can help somebody change the state, it becomes a lot less challenging. It becomes fun. It's very fun, actually.
Yeah. And is it true that sometimes ourselves, we kind of sabotage our own success chances?
We do it more than anything. Self-sabotage, the way we think about ourselves, the way we think about others, the way we think about life. And when we bring that energy, we bring that expectation into every sales presentation, and people pick up on that, the lack of congruency. So think about this, Toby. There's people you naturally trust and like and naturally want to work with, and there's those you don't. And so we want to help people become that person that's likable, that's trustworthy, and can help people make good decisions.
And what are some of the ways that we sabotage our own success then? Is it stuff that we don't often realize?
I think it is our own, I call it our own thermostat. If I walk into a home and the temperature is not where I want it, I change the thermostat, but I'm pretty comfortable at 172, 73 degrees. Well, most people are comfortable at their income level. Maybe they're at 50,000 a year, 80,000, 100,000. That's their base. They almost never go below it, and most never go above it. They get comfortable because they think that's what they're worth. But if you ask somebody, so let me just imagine all the listeners, if your annual income suddenly became your monthly income, how would that feel? Most people have that would be great, but they have resistance because they don't believe it's possible. But what if it were possible? What emotions? How would you live your life? Well, if it's just the emotion, let's start living that way now. That's the way to bring it into reality. So self-sabotage is listening to the wrong voices, connecting with the wrong people, and I believe expecting less than what you've been called to give.
Yeah, and I guess if your annual income suddenly became your monthly income, a lot of people would feel very guilty if that happened really quickly, like they don't deserve that at all.
They deserve this. Wow, yeah. And so I'm glad you said that, too, because one of the biggest problems we have with people is they think that wealth and prosperity is selfishness, et cetera. I believe poverty is selfishness. And I had to train myself to believe that. I didn't always believe that because I grew up very poor. I grew up in poverty. But here's the key. If I want to give to my church, if I want to give to a homeless shelter, I want to give to other people, I cannot do that if I'm poverty stricken. So poverty is selfishness. When you change, they believe that, then you go, I don't want to be selfish. I want to be good. Then you automatically start looking for opportunities, creating opportunities, and the income will be given and distributed. So I do believe in a trickle-down economy of wealth based upon your own heart of giving and your reality.
Yeah. But I guess the thing is, most people in poverty really struggle to get out of it. So is it really fair to say that they aren't necessarily trying to be unselfish?
No, I think you're exactly right. So I don't look at someone in poverty and go, oh, you're a selfish person. I look at myself and say it's selfishness. For other people, are you willing to do something to get out of poverty? Now, for poverty, and poverty is just a word. Understand that. Poverty is a word. For some people that are 100,000 a year, they think they're in poverty and they're not. So poverty means you're living less than what you want to live. And so to help someone get out of that, we have to make sure their mindset's right, which is why in neuro persuasion, I always teach influence yourself first. Get your mindset straight. Most people will never take their annual and turn it into a monthly. They may not want to. They may not want to even do that. But what if they could double their income? What if they could double their income and have some breathing room and feel good and give? Selfishness is not a bad word towards others. Selfishness is, am I being selfish by limiting my income? That's the question I ask myself.
Yeah. And I guess the more money you earn, the likelihood is the more work you're going to have to do to get there. So perhaps is that a kind of resistance as well, that people are quite happy with the time they work?
I think that is a misbelief that people grab a hold of. For example, if someone's making $100,000 a year and they go, hey, I want to make $500,000, but I really don't want to be in 5 times to work. There's a place where it's not more work, it's better processes and systems. And so I'll give you an example. Getting to $100,000 a year was a challenge for me. It was 70, 80-hour weeks. It was studying. It was spending money with coaches and mentors. To go above $100,000, I said, wait a minute. I need to hire a virtual assistant to do this. I need to have this part of my business automated. I work less today. So I'm doing an interview with you. Then I'm going to do a real estate transaction. And the rest of the day is mine. And I'm going to spend time with my family because I sit in systems and processes. So it's not working harder, it's working smarter. And really, who, not how. Who can help me achieve this, not how do I achieve this? That's another mindset that we need to get into.
Yeah, and that's a good point you bring up, because a lot of the time, I think I might be wrong here, and this is kind of anecdotal, but you sort of find that the people who are the very top earners and earn loads aren't maybe working as much as the people that aren't earning much, and they're working really long hours, you know?
That's it. And I believe there's always the people that make it. If you look at the people that are known today as the hustlers, that would be your Gary Vee, your Grant Cardone, they are hustle, work. Yeah. But if you look inside their business, if you truly look inside their business, they have teams and systems and processes. I work with very close friends, very close coaches that earn multiple 6 figures, 7 figures a year. So over $1 million a year with 2 virtual assistants. Just 2 virtual assistants in their own life. To me, it's about lifestyle. But for somebody else, they may go, Wayne, I don't want a life. I don't want to hang out at the beach. I don't want to hang out at the park with the kids. I want to hustle. I want to build. I want the Lamborghini. Then that's great for them. For me, it's lifestyle. And that goes back to your own temperament. So everybody's path is going to be different, and we're created divinely with that. So we need to walk that.
So what are some of the easy ways that we can increase our annual income, etc.?
I think the first way is recognizing the reason that you want to do it. So the unconscious mind is very powerful in saying, this is my basic needs. I will supply these needs. And some of the things that we quote unquote desire, we need to bring into our needs. I'll give you an example. I have 4 daughters in private school. And a lot of people say, well, private school is not a necessity. We have public schools here in the States. You pay taxes for public schools. But my belief system, I'm a Christian, so I want them to have a Christian background. So my belief system is that 8 hours in school is more powerful than me taking them to church once a week. So it's no longer a desire, it's a need. When I brought that into the need category, the unconscious mind said, okay, we need another $3,000 a month. So it started looking, the reticular activating system started looking, how do we create that? How do we bring that value? So first of all, is take some of the desires and bring it into a need. Do you really need this? And if you don't, maybe let it go. But what do you need? Not, I hope one day to retire. No, I need to have the income. I need to give to this charity. That's the first way. The second way, Toby, is to ask yourself, what value am I bringing to the marketplace? What value? Years ago, I worked in a hospital. I washed dishes. I mopped floors. In the same hospital, there were surgeons, neurosurgeons. They brought more value. They earned a lot more money. But we were in the same environment. What value? And do you need to increase your knowledge so you can bring more value?
Yeah, absolutely. So what actually is neuro-persuasion, if you were to describe that?
It's the way the mind makes decisions, the way the mind forms beliefs, and then from that belief, the way we live out our life. If you really think about it, Sophie, your whole life, everyone watching this, your life is an action and a reaction. The alarm clock goes off, you get up, you react. Yeah. You do something, people react to you. It's just action and reaction all day long. That's all your life is. So, and chemicals. If you fall in love with somebody, there's chemicals that flow. If you don't like somebody, there's chemicals. So how do we create that dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins? How do we get those flowing in other people and in ourselves at the right moments? That's what neuropersuasion is. If I may, I'll touch on a very touchy subject to give a valid point. The vaccination for COVID. We have people that are absolutely for it, and they are against people that don't get it. We have people that are absolutely against it, and they think people that get it are crazy. Why? Because, and they can both point to their own facts, their own data.
Yeah.
There was a genesis effect. So here, Toby, is one of the biggest keys of neuropersuasion. A genesis effect is the first thought that enters your mind covertly. If I said, you must get the vaccine, that's overt. You can reject it. But if there's an overt, here's the overt, or the covert, I'm sorry. The covert is a news station, a whatever that said, this vaccine is going to protect you and your family and your neighbors. And it touches on that emotional part. And you're like, yes, I want to do that.
Yeah. Then
the mind starts with confirmation bias to look for reasons that support it. This doctor said it was good. This report said it was good. And so you build a belief. Now let's go on the other side. You get this seeded thought by news, by media, by whatever it is, by a friend that is untested. The people taking it are just guinea pigs. And you grab that belief, and then you start looking for all the evidence, confirmation bias. We're both good people, whichever side. They want to live. They want mankind to live, but they have different beliefs by a seeded thought and confirmation bias. So how would I convince someone that says, could I convince someone that's a non-vaxxer to become a vaxxer? Or somebody that loves vaccines to be scared of the vaccine? Absolutely. But it goes back to morals and ethics. So I don't touch that subject. But the key is, how do you convince someone? You have to have that genesis effect. Because Toby, if you believe something, it's hard for you to do. If I said the Muppets are crazy, silly, you'd be like, Wayne, are you crazy? But what if you believed it first? So people don't fight with their own thoughts. They look for confirmation. That's the key of neuropersuasion.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I guess most big political issues, you're never going to change many people's minds. If you look at polls, they're probably about the same as they were 10 years ago, even when things change. Yeah.
Neuropersuasion, if you really look at a lot of political leaders that have been trained in persuasion, I can pick it out. One of the best ever in persuasion was Obama. President Obama here, whether somebody liked him or disliked him, he knew what to say. He knew how to say it. He used anchoring. He used linguistics. Donald Trump, most people, there's a great divide, love or hate. But he used repetition. He used metaphors. He was trained in the art of the deal. So he knew how to persuade. So learning how to change people, like you said, political is very tough.
Yeah.
But it comes from small words, small language patterns to open up a seed of belief. The seed will sprout forth. If anybody has a seed of belief, it'll sprout forth. So, the biggest key.
Absolutely. So I guess it's the very little things that you need to focus on.
Absolutely. I worked with someone in a major I don't want to get into all the details now, but it was a political life issue, and they were on the other side of where I needed them to be, massively. And I said, okay, so how do I, and I started asking the right questions. I didn't make statements. The people reject statements.
Yeah.
People invite questions. I started asking questions, and all the question did was but a seed of doubt about their current belief. and a seed of hope about the belief I needed to have. Within about a 90 to 120 day window, they were an evangelist for what we were teaching. They completely shifted. Now, you have to have ethics. You have to have morality, because there is power behind persuasion. But if you have that and you mean well, then I think it's our individual right to be able to persuade other people. I think we have a right to be able to persuade if what you're persuading has ethics and morality behind it.
Yeah. And are you able to persuade someone by hypnosis, or is that kind of temporary?
Yeah, so that's a great question. There's the theatrical side of hypnosis.
Yeah.
If you said, hey, Wayne, I want to do this, I want to learn something, I want to become better at something, I want to get rid of a phobia, we could do it right here over Zoom, hypnosis, and because you already have that desire. You already have an image of how that would look. Now, can you persuade someone under hypnosis that doesn't want to believe something? It's possible, but very, very unlikely. Mm-hmm. Most of the time when somebody's persuaded, they're already hidden. The biggest power of hypnosis is trance. What is trance? It's getting your mind in another place. So instead of saying, Toby, look into my eyes and count backwards, what we do instead, and we use metaphorical stories. Mm-hmm. We use stories. And in those stories, you naturally place yourself into the story.
Yeah.
And as you do, then language patterns and covert hypnotic statements can be implied that you take on as truth, and then you change. I didn't change you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, where are we able to check out all your services and keep up to date with you everywhere?
I appreciate that. yourpersuasioncoach.com. You can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram, but yourpersuasioncoach.com will be a link to our podcast on there, our blog, and so much more. And that would be the best place for somebody to find me. We work a lot in the persuasion realm. Also, we do have a real estate coaching business. So if somebody that's in real estate and really wants to learn how to bring persuasion to that, they can find more about it there as well.
Great. Well, thank you very much for joining us on the show today. It's been great talking to you.
Awesome. Thank you.